think I drilled him that time. This buck and I have been going round and round, getting ready to review the tape, but it looked like a good shot. I pray that it was a good shot. I'm pretty fired up right now, feeling pretty good. Well, the shot looks really good. I can't believe I finally got this guy. I hope it was as good as it looks, so I need to go back to the camp and review the tape on a bigger screen, but it looks like I'm just right behind the shoulder. He leaped way up in the air, took off running. I think I may have even seen where he went down, but I'm not positive. But I don't want to push this thing. I'm going to hang tight here in the blind for a while, then I'll get out, see what kind of blood I see, and just clear out of the area. Come back a little later. I don't want to take any chances with this guy. I am so pumped. Well, it's been an exciting 2 weeks. We were down here the week before Christmas on a rut hunt, and Casey Morris was hunting over at 25, and he got out of his blind the first morning and went walking around taking some pictures, and popped out on a sendero and saw this buck several hundred yards away and snapped a couple shots of him. Brought him back to camp, and we had never seen the deer. I think he had been hanging out on another part of the ranch that we don't have leased. Casey went back that evening, and the buck came in. He, in his excitement to get the shot off, I think he said he misjudged the distance a little bit, and the arrow went right under him. So he was pumped and excited. I think he was upset with himself, but he was just ecstatic to be that close. He went back the next morning. The deer came in, but never offered him a shot. He had to leave that afternoon. He encouraged me to go over there and try to get the deer, and I did. And sat there all evening in my quad pod because I didn't have time to move a pop-up over there. And had a couple deer coming in. I could see a big deer, big-bodied deer, about 75 yards away, actually in front of where Casey had been hunting. But because due to the brush, I couldn't tell much about him. So I just sat there and enjoyed the evening. And about 5:45, he walked in 10 yards from me and walked on past. Went out, settled down about 15 yards with his head down eating. I immediately my heart just started pounding. I had another young buck and a doe out there, and I drew on managed to get my bow up without them seeing me. And at that point, I had my attention on him as well as the other buck. The doe was off to the side, and I began to draw. Got about halfway through my draw, and the doe blew at me, and they bolted out of there. But I was, an hour later, my heart was just still pounding. I was so excited. Had to go back to Houston the next morning. I did give it one more hunt, but I didn't see him. I had to go back to Houston, came back down Friday after Christmas. Spent the first several days hunting with my kids, and Les and Colette actually had both seen this buck hunting out of a box blind, and told me about him, and he had moved over to 33, and I came over and set my pop-up up on New Year's Eve afternoon, and there was not a lot of brush around here that had a lot of leaf on it, so I decided I wasn't going to hunt it the next morning. I was going to come back and brush it in further that afternoon, but I did come out and sit in the box blind, and I saw the deer. I saw him on another sendero. He later came over to this sendero and was about 20-25 yards from the blind, maybe a little bit skittish, but not too skittish. And so I came back that afternoon, brushed the blind in, went back, showered, came back out, and he was already here, and he spooked off. I got in the blind, sat, and spent the afternoon just watching tons of deer. I had so many bucks and does I couldn't keep track of them. They were chasing everywhere. Then about 5:45, once again he came in, and while I'd taken my time getting set up on him, unfortunately I didn't take my time getting the shot, and I put a bad shot on him about 20 yards. I skewered his back strap,
was just sick. Had a sleepless night. Came out here the next morning, yesterday morning, got in the box blind again because I wanted to be able to see as much country as I could to see what kind of shape the deer was in. I knew I had hit him. It appeared that I had hit him in the straps on the video, and sure enough, seeing him now, I had. I did see the deer yesterday morning, and he even came back over in front of my setup for a brief period of time. Came back out yesterday afternoon, got back in my pop-up. Was going back and forth on whether I just need to put him down with a rifle or shoot him with a bow. I decided to give him a little more time with the bow since he appeared to be okay. And he came in last night. I had him at 20 yards for about 2 minutes. All he needed to do was take 2 more steps to get in my shooting lane, and he took off after a doe. So once again, I went home dejected and just kicking myself for ruining my second attempt, I guess, at him. And came out this morning. Actually brought the rifle to the bow blind with me. I was getting worried the infection was going to set in and I might lose the deer. But I also had my bow. Sat here all morning, and he didn't show at his normal time. I was beginning to think that maybe he was starting to feel the effects of that first shot. And about 9:30, had a doe walk in, and I looked behind her, and there was a big body deer coming. I got my binoculars up, and sure enough, here he came. He came on in. It's about settled down about 25 yards. I wanted to try to get him inside 20, make sure I didn't make any more mistakes. Took my time. He this time a little buck ran off chasing the doe, and he took off after the little buck and scared him off the doe. And he settled in and started eating corn about just 17, 18 yards away. Got drawn on him. He gave me a good shot. I just took my time and did the right things and released the arrow. The shot looked good. I was just fired up. I saw him run back in the brush. Looked like I saw him go down or where he stopped, but I couldn't tell if it was him or not. The brush was a little too thick. And so then I reviewed the tape and saw that the shot was even better than I hoped. It's a little bit behind the shoulder here, but on the tape it looked like it went in right at the crease. But then I just sat and waited for about an hour while my phone was going crazy with text messages. Got out of the blind, didn't find a lot of blood, found my arrow, it had good blood on it. Went into the brush where he went in and found the first spot, and it just got steadier and steadier, and he went about 30, 40 yards, and he was piled up in there, and I'm just tickled to death. It's my biggest bow buck to date. I suspect it may even be my biggest buck to date. I got to put a tape on him. We're not sure what he scores. We've had everything from 150 to a few Tito's induced 180s. He's a little short on his tine length, but he's got good beam length. He's just got lots of points, and I'm just tickled to death. And the tongue's out.